Hello and welcome to R&R's Ask the Expert. I'm Kayla McGowan, editor-in-chief, and today we're chatting about one of the coolest ways you can relax, hit the links, get competitive, and network. If you haven't guessed it, we're talking all things Restoration Golf League. I'm joined by Peter Lyons, chairman of the board, and Lee Patterson, commissioner. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Welcome. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you for coming on. I know it's well overdue. We've had quite a few conversations. I'm super excited to kind of share with the industry, what you guys are all about, how it kind of started, what's the coolest part of the league, and all that fun stuff. So I'm going to dive right in. Just for people watching who may not know who we are know who you guys are, how does the Restoration Golf League strengthen relationships across the restoration industry? In what ways are they different from traditional conferences and trade shows? Because I know there's a different connection when you're competitive and kind of relaxed in a sense. So, what's your take on that, Peter?
Oh, well, yeah, it's what makes the Restoration Golf League different. I mean, it's just adding on to the different marketing strategies and channels that we all kind of take part in. We all take part in the industry golf tournaments, the four-man scrambles, which are fun. There's nothing wrong with those. We all take part. I just was in one yesterday with a charity golf tournament, and that though they're fun. But when we set out to do the Restoration Golf League, it was let's get to the true heart of golf. You don't have to be good at golf, but let's get going. Let's get back to playing our own ball, keeping our own score, being a little competitive in that sense of things. Because people do that are in golf, they do like to get better. They like to, and scramble golf is there's a saying when we get it, it's grip it and rip it. You're playing a ball like you're not playing real golf in a sense of okay, strategizing. Okay, if I hit this ball here, I am setting up the next shot. There's a whole difference of this type of golf. But it also then the camaraderie part of it with playing with different people. It could be a competitor. It could be someone that is another vendor that is there. It could be a vice president. It could be a sales rep. It could be a project manager. I mean, the range of titles, I guess, is the easiest way to say it, ranges from your big box store type companies down to your small independent franchises. And I think that's really what is different than a lot of things is that mix of companies and people within the industry.
That's really a good way to put it. I would definitely say too, it kind of humanizes us a little bit more, I would definitely say. And then you can be competitive. Some people like to just have a good time, but some people it's really like you see the true side of their competitiveness, but it's still fun, right? It's
Right.
still a sense of relaxing. And I really just, it's cool to kind of hear who goes and plays, right? Maybe people you didn't expect to really go and play golf. I think it also kind of, again, humanizes who we are and what we do essentially. Lee, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you nailed it with the humanizing factor. It's just one that when you step out there, yes, you're going for business, but you're also doing something that's enjoyable. You're doing something that a lot of people typically will schedule maybe during the week or most of the time on the weekends. And it's a hobby for a lot of people. So when you start to have that shared experience and like the shared passion out there, I think it's really one of those that really just breaks down the barrier and allows people to just go out and have a different mentality when they're playing. So your conversations can go all over the place. You can talk about your family, you can talk about work, you can talk about travels. But a lot of times I do recognize that people want to be helpful. They want to provide some solutions or some sort of like, oh, you're having a problem here. Like I know a guy, or hey, maybe we can help you out with this. So there is that personal touch of things that happens out there. But yeah, I think it's something that, we just find the human aspect really comes out when people are on the golf course because, you're outside, it's a nice day most of the time. And you've got you've got 4 to 5 hours in a golf cart with somebody. And you're not going to talk about business the entire time. So you do get to know people on a different level out there.
Yeah, well said. And you mentioned something about breaking barriers, and I think this is really important because you said this already without kind of saying it directly, but the barriers that are broken down are so important because a lot of times we kind of pool ourselves in specifics, right? Like restorers and cleaners, independents, franchises, vendors, industry leaders. We're all kind of, we're put into these buckets, if you will. But when we're on the course, we're just people, right? And
Mhm.
how important is that for the league as a whole, right? Again, going back to the humanization, but also having fun and just, not always talking about business. I feel like a lot of times we live this, breathe this, eat this, sleep this 24/7. And so it's kind of nice to peel back the layers of the people who are really in the industry and learn about their families and things like that. So why is that so important to you guys in breaking those barriers down and letting people have fun, outside of work all the time?
I just think it's something that, when you talk about like an independent versus a franchise versus vendor versus, industry leaders, I think they all have their weekly mentality. They all have their sphere that they're operating in. And so the focus is usually that. But when you get onto the golf course and you're paired with somebody that you don't know that works maybe in an opposite sphere, you start to learn a little bit more about what their day-to-days go on and what they're like. And I think one important thing too about the golf course, and definitely when I recognize a lot of the companies that are playing in the league are using it as a platform to market their services. So they do it as client entertainment. When people, are going to be inviting their prospects out or maybe just using it as client appreciation. I think one key thing, and I've always had this in my mind, the Floodlight guys had Jerry Edel on a podcast years ago, and he was talking about the idea of when you walk into somebody's office and you're doing a sales pitch, you need to recognize like you're stopping that person from making money at that point. You're stopping them from doing their own business. So when you get somebody out on the golf course with you, they've already said yes. They've already made the commitment to they've already made the commitment to you in that time and then just whatever is going to unfold from there. So I think when we talk about the opportunities that come from this, whether you're going out there to meet somebody in the industry peer to peer and you're trying to grow your business that way, or if you're going to use the league to try to grow your own businesses, like people are already saying yes to the time. And I think that's the important part here. And so when you take advantage of that and you start to work that in as your own marketing opportunity, then you're going to have, a lot more success because you're having general conversations.
Yes, I agree. And I would definitely say too, we oftentimes don't think about that we're stopping people from, potentially making money, but also make that connection count and matter. It's not just trying to sell, right? We have to do a little bit better job of taking a second and thinking, hey, if that were me, what connection would I want to be had at that point? And it's really important that we again, humanization, I feel is like one of the biggest things that we have to do in the industry that we're in, right? Because oftentimes it's the hustle and bustle, the grind, and there's just not a second for us to really stop and humanize each other. And I think you guys do a really, really good job at that. So, Peter, how is the league helping shape the next generation of leadership and collaboration in the industry? I think this one's really, really important because the regular, trying to recruit and network and all of those things just don't cut it anymore for the newer generation, right?
Well, I think it kind of ties into what we were just talking about because it's slowing it down. I think immediate gratification generation, it's like, what can I get out of this now? I need something. I'm walking in the office and I'm expecting a sale. I'm expecting something to happen right here. And it's getting them to understand. It's like if someone walked into my office and didn't about golf, like if a sales rep walked in, or not, I say anybody that walked into my office and decided to talk about pickleball instead, I'd be like, what part of my office says I pickleball? What is this, to sit down. Now, getting onto the golf course, it's 4.5, 5 hours, depending on, I mean, it could be 3.5, depending on the course. There's only so much work that you're gonna want to speak about and talk about, or you can talk about, because it shouldn't be that. You're out there to have a good time, enjoy the elements. work on your game, maybe take a pointer or two, look at what that other person is doing. So it's allowing us to learn to slow down a little and really truly humanize what we're doing. Now, I've been doing this since 2005 in the industry, and trust me, I know about the hustle and bustle, the daily grind, all of that. And it takes me as a business owner setting these golf events on the calendar and being very intentional about me going. People go, "Well, you also run the golf league." And I'm like, if it were me, I would not miss these events because I know every 6 weeks, every 8 weeks, I can put this on my calendar and I'm going to see anywhere between 24 and 40 industry related people. And then I'm intentional about, hey, how's your wife? How are the kids? How are, and keeping those relationships going because you can't do this for this long without having those strong relationships. And I think getting the younger generation out on the golf course is allowing them to, and this kind of goes for everybody, I guess, slow it down a little, and really get to know the people that make up this industry. If you're not getting to know the people in this industry, it's going to be a very lonely and miserable place. I mean, how many times do you ever always hear, man, I'm getting out of this industry? Well, why would you do that? I mean, it's an industry that's not going anywhere. It's just getting worse. If you want to believe in climate change or not, or whatever's changing, it doesn't matter. This is an industry that's not going anywhere. So why is it that your attitude is, I want to get out of the industry? You're just not making the connections. And if you're not making those connections, then you want to you're going to move on. I have no desire I want to slow down the industry a little so that it's not as hustle and bustle. But you can't, I mean, look what's going on in Hawaii. Look what's going on in Nebraska. Look at what's going on in different places.
Mhm.
That's the industry we've chosen. Why not make the most of the connections? Because we're meant to make connections. That's the human nature of things is connecting.
Yeah, really well said. And I will definitely say this industry, you live or die by your connections and honestly slowing down, truly, because that's what it's all about. We're going to refer business, business is going to be referred to us, and then people will start to look to you for whatever your expertise is, right? And so taking the moment to, take 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours out of your day to slow it down and have fun and kind of open up about yourself and maybe kind of share what your business is all about, that's where you grow and flourish on a personal level, but also a professional level. And I'm pretty sure most people listening actually do golf, which is interesting. I will definitely say most people I know in this industry like to golf. So why wouldn't you take up that opportunity every 6 to 8 weeks to go and hit the links and slow down just a little bit? And you guys are all over. I'm kind of gonna go a little off here for a second. You guys are all over the United States, right? It's not just, I know you had one in Vegas in January. And selfishly, that's my neck of the woods. And my friend actually won, I heard, Ryan Whitney, which is really cool, small world. But can you kind of break down, Lee, where you guys are going in 2026? Because I think it's really important for people to understand that you guys almost do like a world tour every year, essentially, and you guys have quite a few stops. So can you kind of share what's upcoming for maybe April, May, and June for RGL?
Yeah, no, we've expanded to 18 chapters across the nation here. And the goal is definitely to have everybody playing a minimum of 6 rounds throughout the year here. So we've have like our 2026 tour. 4 of the 6 rounds are going to be just go out straight up golf, really focus on the networking side of things. And then we also recognize, yeah, scrambles are fun. So we're going to include 2 scrambles in there. The May round, that's the next one coming up for all 18 chapters, is going to be a 2-man scramble. And then in October, we want to do a charity 4-man scramble in each of the chapters. So we're going to pick a local charity. We'll align with them. That's probably going to be a lot of assistance based upon the local chapter ambassador that represents us out there. Whatever their charity is that the companies are working with, let's dive in. Let's get their press going. Let's get their people out there. And let's try to write a decent check back to the community there. So yeah, we want this to be, an opportunity for the industry to take advantage of, as we've been talking about. Make that commitment to your schedule, put it on there, And then we do intend on growing next year. I know right away, Indianapolis is probably going to be a spot that we throw on the calendar. I really like Nashville, and I also want to get up to Canada. I think Toronto would be a great first plant for us, and then maybe in the future we'll jump over to maybe like Calgary area, play in the mountains up there.
Yeah, that'd be really fun. And I will definitely say if you haven't really taken a second and really listened to what both Lee and Peter have said, they're helping build a strong community. And I think that's really important for people to understand because community is everything. We're a tribe, essentially, is how I see the restoration industry, right? And you guys are doing a really, really good job because I think it goes beyond, like, to your guys' points, beyond sales, beyond work. It's about people and building the future of the industry. So, with that being said, Peter, what long-term impact do you guys hope to make on the industry from culture to networking and even professional development?
I think we're already seeing it, to be honest with you. I can't tell you that this was what was set out to be when we first did this. Where we've gone from, I was actually at a turn, like I said, industry, it wasn't even an industry tournament. It was a four-man scramble for Freedom Dogs yesterday. And they're dogs that they train for veterans, for PTSD. They had the puppies running around the golf course. They had 13-year-old dogs all the way down to the puppies that were puppies in training. And I got invited to that by one of our golf league members, One Hat Construction in San Diego. And so he's out supporting his local community in doing charity golf tournaments. And through the relationship that we built in San Diego through the golf league, he's inviting me out to then us help support local organizations like that. But in that conversation, he's looking to expand to Nevada and Arizona, which we have operations in Nevada and Arizona. So he's like, Peter, I need a general B contractor to help me in Nevada and here. And so he's now asking. So we went from supporting a local charity, growing the RGL brand, and just in a good personal relationship to let's talk business in the same sense. But he kind of kicked it back to, man, that first tournament we did. So he actually came up from San Diego February 4th of 21 for our kickoff golf tournament. He's like, man, that was so fun. So then I'm like, man, February 4th. So we're on our fifth year with 18 chapters when it was literally a way to stay connected during COVID in Southern California. Then it just blossomed into this where, okay, 18 chapters, a league commissioner. It's absolutely crazy to see where it's gone and where it could go. Because first off, you have restoration around the world and you have golf around the world. Okay, so the opportunities truly are endless when it comes to what it could be. Okay. So, where do I see it going? I mean, I didn't see it ever coming to be here. But Lee and I have talked. I mean, you start colliding this billion-dollar industry called the restoration world, and you have the billion-dollar golf industry, and you're colliding those two. Well, again, opportunities are endless onto what that will look like in the future. But in the meantime, getting out playing 24. I mean, I've played three times in the last 2 weeks just because we've launched this month. I'll be in San Diego on Friday. We have 40 golfers coming out on Friday in San Diego. A couple of other events going around the country. So even if we were just to say we have 18 chapters right now, that if we get those anywhere between 40 to 60 golfers every go around, you look at that and that's, 240, 300 golfers on any given month getting out within the industry, building stronger connections out there. And that's the goal.
Yeah, and I think that's a crucial goal too, to your point. It's just a way to keep things going, but also fun, right? And you mentioned, $2 billion worlds coming together. The possibilities are endless. I hope to see you guys in all 50 states eventually. I don't know if that's a plan for you guys, but I'd love to see that representation. And as, Lee mentioned, up into Canada and things like that. Who knows? You may expand to other countries as well outside of, the US and Canada and all that fun stuff. So I think it's really cool to really hear where you guys want to go, even though it started as a way to stay connected way back when. COVID seems like forever ago, but also not really. And I really am so proud to hear you guys talk about this so passionately because it's just another way for us to keep things fun. But also, again, I cannot say this enough, humanize us. I mean, every day we're seen as professionals. It's nice to just be a friend or, hey, did you know that I'm a dad or a grandparent or whatever the case may be? It's a really cool way to just kind of, to your guys' point, slow it down a little bit. That's all I had today. I'm going to share a ton of information down below in the write-up. Do you guys have any final words before we sign off?
I would just say head over to restorationgolfleague.com, find your nearest chapter and sign up for the next event. I think that's the easiest way to get involved is just to sign up, show up. If it's something that already you recognize, like, hey, this is a great opportunity. I want to bring my clients out. I want to bring my prospects out, then go for it. We'd be happy to host anybody that you have that you want to bring out.
Yeah. And I would say there's two, for those people that are listening to this right now that don't golf, there are opportunities to assist with the league, help out as an ambassador with each of the other leagues. We do need non-golfers because all of the golfers like to golf. So trying to get them to help, I mean, they're obviously helpful, but to get the day-to-day on the day of event piece, we do like to have somebody that likes to stick around before, stick around after, collect scorecards, take photos, do all of the marketing piece of it so we can promote the brand. And then the last thing I would touch on is the companies that are out there that are looking at this, like, how do I get involved, possibly from a marketing standpoint, from a sponsorship standpoint? The only way we will grow this, and this is that that this I guess selfless plug of we need help. I mean, this isn't a free organization, and for us to grow for the membership base where we really want to go, we really need to, start dialing in some of the sponsorships for the league. And there's a lot of opportunity there. And then I'll end on this. It's like people are spending 10, 15, $20,000 on one conference, sending 10 people out there for what type of FaceTime? Where we're looking at, again, anywhere between 300 to 400 golfers golfing 6 times a year in 18 different markets. If you can't see value in that piece of in those numbers and you take that number down to what is that per touch? So there are opportunities on the local level from local companies being able to help sponsor it all the way up to the national levels. And I would say reach out to Lee if you want more information on how that will look and how that can happen. But for where we want to go in the next 5 years, it's in where whoever wants to come along for the ride, it's going to be a fun ride. I mean, the worst case, we all get to play a little more golf, meet a few more people, and hopefully see some birdies and eagles out there on the golf course.
Well said. I will definitely say, I hope to check in with you guys probably next year or again later this year and future years to kind of talk about where you guys go. But in, the next 5 years, who wouldn't want to go play more golf and network and build a bigger community? And again, the future of the industry does happen at these types of events. And, I can't wait to see you guys on the golf course one day. I'm not that great, if I'm being honest, but I love to have fun. So thank you both so much for taking the time to share with the industry what RGL is all about and how people can get involved. We will see you on the next episode of Ask the Expert. Take care.